Alright. Add our pork chops to our hot oil. Brown them down. Load it up real good. All I have on it's Cajun seasoning right now. That's all. Alright, we're going to speed this process up a little bit. Alright, so you want to make sure you get the pork chops good and brown. A lot of your color in your dish is going to come from the browning of your meat. So go ahead and get your pork chops brown real good on each side. You can see I get it good and dark. I could have gone darker, but you're going to mainly cooking most of the pork chop, most of your meat here in a little bit. I threw down, I think it's like 3 or 4 chicken thighs I had. I cut them up in chunks, threw them in there, and then I had 2 pounds of pork tasso, which is like a smoked pork meat that I get from Louisiana. I cut that up into bite-sized chunks and threw it in there with the chicken once it got started, and I browned it up real good. Took them out, and then here I put 3 very large onions, and I did a red bell pepper, a green bell pepper, or 2 green bell peppers and a yellow bell pepper. You saw me put in there in seasoning. I put garlic powder. I put stale crackers, Trinity in a bottle, and also put black pepper in there. I added just a little bit of water just to help deglaze the bottom and get the onions steaming. And now I cook these vegetables down for, I don't know, probably 25-30 minutes. I mean, maybe even a little more than that, but I cook them down till they're good and soft. I still wanted some texture. I didn't want to cook them down to everything browned, but I did want to cook them down a good bit. So once I got a good moisture built up, I dumped all my meat back in there. I did debone those pork chops and put the bones back in there. I wanted them to boil in with that chicken broth that I just added. Added some parsley flakes here. But I did want to let those bones cook in there just to add the flavoring. But give it a good stir, put it on simmer, and gonna let it go for a while. Alright, so I've had this thing boiling for a couple hours now. These bones, done about boiled all the meat off of them. So I'm going to go ahead and take the bones out from them pork chops. And stick them to the sides. But oh my goodness, if you could smell through this phone, it smells so good. Alright, once I get all these bones out, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to check my meat and make sure it's all good and tender. I don't want it quite falling apart, but I want it pretty darn close. I'm gonna let that get close, and then I'm gonna add the cream cheese, cream cheese, and get that going. And then once I get the cream cheese in there and get it all loaded up, I'm gonna throw the noodles in. So that's what we got in this taste. I tasted it a minute ago. It is fantastic. All right, so I've been going about 2.5 hours. And the meat's getting good and tender. I don't want it falling apart, but I want it pretty tender. So, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and add my cream cheese, and I let my cream cheese go ahead and get room temperature so it doesn't change the temperature of the pot. So, I went ahead, I put 2 blocks of cream cheese in it. This is a 13-quart Magnolite, so this is, I mean, it's pretty good size. There's a lot of meat in there, but and it's you want plenty of seasoning in it at this point. Once that pasta gets in there, it's really gonna knock it down a little bit. But I'm gonna let this go for a little bit and incorporate the cream cheese, and then I'll add the noodles to it. All right, we got it stirred up, and the cream cheese has still got a few little bumps of it in there, but that's okay. I'm gonna use penny pasta tonight. So I'm gonna put a box of that in there and stir it around. And again, the only water I added I don't know, a half a cup when I was doing the onions, and then I added 1 box of chicken broth. That's all the water we've added to this. And again, we got about 2 pounds of pork tasso, which is a smoked. It's actually a smoked pork. I've got 3 or 4 chicken thighs cubed up, and I think it was 6 pork chops. I cut them off the bone, threw the bones in there, let it cook with the bones. Once I added the liquid to it, let it cook for 2 or 3 hours to get all the juices and flavors out of those bones. Removed the bones. Kept going for another 30 minutes or so. And now I've added the cream cheese, let it go for about 20. And now I'm dumped the pasta noodles in there. I'm going to cover this. I'm going to cut it down on low. And I'm going to let it go for about 40 minutes before I even check it. I'll fold it over and we'll go from there. Alright, I've had the pasta in there for about 35 minutes. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to give it a little stir. Uh-oh, make a mess. Oh yeah. Been going for a second. So let's check this pasta. Give it a little stir and pull one of the pieces out and try it. Actually, we're in good shape. We're about ready to eat. I'm gonna let this go to the wife and the grandbaby get out of the shower, and then we're gonna have some supper. All right. So this has been in there about 40 minutes, and 1 box of pasta was about perfect. Got one of these old Wagner-ware spoons. As you can see, the little spots of cream cheese that I had, when I first started this, I said, well, there's a couple little clumps of it. It didn't melt in. It's been done now, so it's done, got creamy, and as you stir it with that pasta, it really breaks in there. Add a little parsley. Anyway, there it is, Pastalaya.